welcome back to another episode of R&R. I am your host, Jamerson Ballard. Let's get into it. So, man, I had a very interesting weekend, to say the least. Man, um, but on the positive note, I think I passed a lot of tests that, as a man, you're going to get tested, whether you want to be or not. It's going to happen to see if you're worthy of the next level of evolution, I guess. And I like to think I passed because it was a few difficult moments, but we made it through, man. Today's topic, right, is let's call it winners will win. All right, we'll call it winners will win. I was gonna call it losers will lose, but in the spirit of attracting the type of energy I want to direct you guys' way, I'm gonna start with that as a small thing, right? For example, um, I've been examining. It's a law that we don't really maybe understand, but it needs to be discussed, and it's called the law of hypnotic rhythm. Oh, I mean, there are laws that we are not necessarily aware of that we maybe need to be aware of, because regardless of whether you're aware of them or not, they are still very much active. Just because you're not aware of the law of gravity does not mean that it's not that it doesn't work. Okay, there are spiritual laws that you need to be aware of. Sometimes they aren't made to be put out there like that because a lot of people aren't talking about these type of things. You know, they are comfortable with where they are, but this is not a show for the comfortable. Okay, we want to put people past their comfort zone into the next level, and I want to highlight, you know, an anti-procrastination type of vibe, because we're all about creating winners here, man. And in order to do that, you have to renew your mindset, because believe it or not, when you are in a certain mindset, that determines everything that you do from that point. Your cells actively take on the the, the subconscious thought that you might have, whether it be a winning perspective or a losing one. And a lot of that perspective thing will have to come into play with with the way is your perspective is a reflection of how you feel about things, or how you view things, or how you've seen them, and how you break them down. And that also means that you have to then take it a step back and then go into your attitude, right? And if you have a attitude of gratitude, you will get a lot further than a person that has an attitude of, let's say, entitlement, because you've been here for this amount of time. You feel like that you should be catered to more so, and you might not necessarily be wrong, but there are people who are around who have way less than you've had, and their perspective is, if I just had a little bit of that, oh, how much I would do with that little bit. And that should scare you a little bit and make you always want to stay ahead, because procrastination is the enemy, man. let's look at the etymology of the word procrastination for a second, right? Pro, which is to forward, and then procrastination or crastinate is tomorrow, and that just means that you're putting things off till tomorrow, like as if tomorrow is promised to you. Let me explain something to you. Tomorrow is not promised to you. It's not. That's why you should handle everything today that you can, because you're not promised to see tomorrow. You can't pay for another breath. You can't buy another heartbeat. While a lot of people emphasize the money aspect, I've always been told that if you can buy it, it's pretty cheap. And the best things in life are free. You cannot replicate these things. Time is not something you can purchase. If you want to argue, we can, but I don't really think it's necessary, because you cannot replicate more time. And you can get more money. And a lot of people make the mistake of saying that time is money, but it is not. That's why you have to make the best decisions you can in the time that you have, because you will throw away 25 years of your life with poor emotional intelligence and end up losing more than just the time and the money. But you can't replace those things when you have people that you care about, children, relatives, loved ones, you can't see again. They may pass while you were locked up trying to prove a point to some clown in the parking lot. And to be honest, man, it could have been me. It could have been anybody. I was at a comedy show this weekend. Now, I am very much aware of the 5150 show. I fuck with Corey Holcomb very heavily, and a lot of the other shows that are involved with him, or spin-offs, we'll say, I'm involved with them too. Like the Craig Smith show. I like that show very much. I've been inspired quite a bit by a lot of the topics those young men discuss on their show. And another person I deal with is Just Niche. And when she came to my city to do a show, I went to go see her. Now, it was very geriatric in that motherfucker. It was a lot of OGs in there. And the establishment wasn't a very good reflection of our city, in my opinion. And for that, Niche, I apologize. Also, there was a bit of a janky promoter situation, and I mean, maybe I wasn't paying attention to the flyer. It was a guy that was singing, did a great job. I didn't necessarily expect to see that, but again, I didn't necessarily read the flyer. All I cared about was Niche was coming, and I missed her last time she came, so I wanted to see her, and so I paid the money to see Just Niche perform. And after the opening act came on, there was, Niche on the stage, and she was doing her jokes, and about 5 minutes into her set, young men started unplugging the sound equipment. And I didn't understand what was going on at first, but because I'm involved in the industry somewhat, I knew what questions to ask, and found out that I guess the promoter hadn't paid the people, and that was the last straw for me. So I went to go get my money back, and I almost crashed into another set of brothers who I never intended to have a misunderstanding with, because my thing was with the actual promoter. Now, I was talking past the guy that was in front of me, in between me and the promoter, and because I'm a bigger guy and my energy was very, where the fuck is my money at, to be, quite frank, it wasn't directed toward that young man, but it was a lot of things being said, all of which I had to ignore, because in my line of work, you're going to be called a few things that you might not like to be called. But my understanding is that you are not what you are called, but what you answer to. And I'll say that again for all these young men who might fight somebody because of what they've said to you. Now, I've had a problem with a guy before that called me something I didn't like, and because I am big on respect, I let him have it. But I may have overdid it. The dude was hurt. I felt bad, and I told myself after that point, I will never put my hands on another person unless they try to physically harm me first or put their hands on me. And so basically I had to develop tougher skin, so like no words can get me out my body and have me not only going back and forth, tongue wrestling I like to call it, with another individual about how they feel about me and how I need to prove my manhood to. I'm not finna go into all that with you. I know what I have going on. I know who I am. This is not the time and place for this. And this is all a misunderstanding. I'm big on understanding. And so I hope that everything's cool, because to me, and I've reached out in the ways that I can to let people know that everything's fine, and it just was I had a discrepancy as a customer. You know what I mean? So other than that, man, everything was cool, because after the quote unquote discrepancy, you know, because I had to go schedule somebody else to do some things for me afterwards, and I couldn't just lollygag. So I'm out of there. But before I left, it looked like Niche, like the pro she is, was still on stage killing. And I was a little bit upset that I might miss out on something, but I've already made my decision and I left. So again, I hope that she comes back, and the Jakey promoter situation needs to stop. It really does. You know, but this is why I do things the way I do things, so that people don't develop a bad reputation for being, you know, a shady business person. This is horrible, and I dislike it very much. And you know, I thought I'd make slight mention of it on my platform because it's irritating. You know what I mean? So please, 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 people, do good business. Pay the people that, and if you have to take the hit, you take it. The people that's working for you, man, they need to continue to work. You know, you came to see a show. At any rate, the topic again is winners will win. And that means not that you will not lose, but you have made a conscious decision to not let a loss deter you from your ultimate goal. Because you're going to stumble on the way, and a lot of people want the fruit of the labor, but without the actual journey. Man, to be honest, the journey is the fruit. The journey, the path that you take on the way to where you're going, is what you're going to draw from on the days where things aren't great. And you know, difficult days will make you into the man that you're supposed to be. But a lot of times you try to shield yourself from losing and having difficult moments. And a lot of times, this is not a shot to women, but mothers will try to shield their children from these things in order to make life easier for them. And that's not a bad thing altogether, but you have to let you have to suffer some. You have to, it's almost okay when you can engineer it in a way, or you can kind of not necessarily manufacture it, but like make sure that you understand the outcome and know the outcome of it. And so there's no way this kid can fail in this. At the same time, though, you know, you have to train them in the way that they should go, and be able to let go and allow them to fail, and then come to you for help. You know what I mean? Which for men, it's a pride thing a lot of times, and you have to swallow that. And I'm not telling you something that I haven't done myself. I just experienced this. As at my age, I should not be tongue wrestling with men about things like this, but it still happens. and it was happening, during college. Then areas where I felt like these things should be we should be past these things, but a lot of people are. Some of us are still. You're 60 years old, but you're 13 in the head. Emotionally, you're a 13, 14-year-old person, and you have these entitlements, and it's very annoying to be a man, and you think you're dealing with another man, but you're dealing with a man with the mindset of an entitled female because he was raised by a woman and doesn't know how to look at things like a man should, you know, and just understand that although this person is upset, is not. If I'm listening to this person instead of just looking at him and what he's doing, I understand that he's not upset with me. He's not even looking for me. He's not talking to me. He actually sounds like he's talking to you. He's looking for you. All you have to do is move out the way and let things go the way they're supposed to go as far as that, unless you are hired to be, security of some sort. And at any rate, things do have to be respected. There is a hierarchy. There's an order of operations. And my mistake was I was going to bypass whatever safeguard they had, or for me it looked like this dude was just BSing in the back trying to buy time, and I don't have time to waste because I am a winner, and I will continue to win because it's not that I won't lose, but I don't anticipate losing. I don't even see it. I don't even register as an option. You know what I mean? I take winning very seriously, and I think that has to do with the fact that when you take L's, you understand that there are things that you can't allow to continue to happen in order to keep from having L's. And it's not that you don't have L's altogether, but I'm not finna. It's not finna be a consecutive thing or a thing that is continuous. And it's some people, they look at things like that, like a setback, and they just lay down. And that's a horrible way to be, man, because if you the type to lay down, you think I'm gonna lay down, you're gonna have cells that are in your body that are, when you skeet in the girl, that kid is gonna be the type to lay down, because that's all you think about is how you're going to lose, what's going to happen if you lose, instead of changing your perspective just a little bit and understanding that this is a lesson and not a loss. Now, I know the next time this happens, or I'm faced with this set of circumstances, I'll do this instead. And when you get the win, you keep doing what you did to win to continue to win until the loss is not even something that it's not your dominating thought. Some people tried to win, they've done everything they can. They want things to happen because they've gone to college and they think that the world pays you for what you know. But the contrary. The world pays you for what you can do, or what you can get somebody else to do. Not for what you know. So you're a college student who's going to college and you got all these degrees and you wonder why you can't get a job or nobody give you a chance. One of the things that you'll notice is that once you have all this credentials, people understand they have to pay you for that. And a lot of times people don't necessarily have the money and they cannot afford you. So you might have to do something like take a less position just to make ends meet until you find something that is best suited for you or in your field of study. But if you're too prideful, you won't think to do that. My suggestion for anybody is not that you shouldn't go to school, but whatever it is that you think that you could do very well for absolutely no money, pour yourself into those things. You might even want to volunteer for that until it becomes something that you start to generate income from, because that is what drives you. That's what's going to make you happy. Not being a lawyer because lawyers pay well. Or, but if you like working on cars, you can do that all day. Do that. Do that so well until you until people start recognizing how well you do that, and they ask you to fix their cars for them, and you're up under hoods all day for free. People are giving you parts and cars that they don't want because you are the car person now. Do you understand what I'm saying? I like helping people. So I'm doing this. I don't necessarily need to be paid to do this. I like to give people something that they can use. And I just hope it goes to the right people. Another thing is people think that sharing will cut them out. And that's not the case. You got your hands wrapped so tightly around what it is that you have. You can't stand to receive anything else. Sometimes you have to let things go and let it be taken, and then it will be replaced with something else. But if your heart is closed, it's hard. Your mind is closed, it's hard. You need to open it up some without being afraid that whatever is trapped inside of your hand is going to escape, because your manliness is surrounded by what you have in your hand, and that's not the way this thing works. It's got to be in you, not on you. Like this t-shirt, my clothing does not make me the man that I am. My code of conduct, my morals, fabric, those things, my goals and how I execute those goals, those are what make me a man. You know what I'm saying? Not having $1 million. You understand? Winners will win. But that requires an amount of risk. And if you're not the type to take risk, you might want to stay in the house. Because you might lose. But that does not mean you're going to stop or die. You if a girl tells you no the first time you ask her for a phone number, you don't go home, write her name in a book, plot to how to kill her because she embarrassed you or she told you no. No. If that's the type of girl you like, and you swung and you missed with this one, you keep trying with other girls. You might critique something, change this. Maybe it's your timing. Maybe she does actually have a boyfriend and she's loyal. You see her again, you called her all kind of B words, and she might have been on her period that day. Now you at odds with a girl and her brother because you had to disrespect her because she didn't see things your way. It's okay for people not to agree with you, not to see you like the way you see yourself sometimes. You just keep doing what it is you need to do until your lifestyle lines up with the way you see yourself. People annoy me a lot of times with this thing about New Year's resolutions and putting things off until the first of the year. Like, I'm gonna do all this stuff that I'm supposed to do sometime throughout the course of the year, all at the beginning, and it's gonna be fresh and new. Stop it. If it's something you can change as far as your diet, as far as your exercise level, your patience, do it now. Start developing a mindset of anti-procrastination. Let's get active out here, man. And let's be the kind of people we want to see in the world, instead of like expecting people to be good to us just because we're a person. You have to give what it is that you want to receive out here. And it's not an easy thing to do, or an easy mindset to come across right away, because a lot of people don't understand that. but the gift really is in the giving. You know what I'm saying? To see somebody that is less fortunate than you, and you gave them something that they couldn't get for themselves, and it was just really not a big deal for you. That's for me, that feels pretty good. You know what I mean? A young lady can't reach something, and it's nothing for me to reach it. I here they say that heaven and the hell is the exact same place, right? It's like this table with all the foods that you love and things that you want to eat, and everybody's hands are made of spoons, but they can't bend at the elbow. And in hell, because the mindset there is one of selfishness and self-serving, they are tortured by this because they haven't came up with the idea of, let me, okay, you like potatoes, here, let me give you some potatoes, bam. And then, okay, well, I want some pie, can you give me some pie? And that person then, because you gave them what they wanted, returns the favor and gives you some pie. And in heaven, that's what's going on there. Everybody's giving to one another. It's just that simple. Change the way you think about things and your perspective, and you will begin to start winning immediately. Happy Melanated Monday to R&R, the Rand Gang, and the Capital Letter Club. My name is Jamerson Ballard. Please like, share, and subscribe. It's Jamerson Ballard on pretty much all platforms. And yeah, my Cash App is also $SUPERSTEE. If I'm giving you anything that can help you, please don't be shy, man. And it's not a ploy to get anything, because I don't need anything. All I need is for you to take this and use it, so that when I'm 94, I don't have this crazy amount of selfish, self-serving, procrastinating people who, destroy this earth, man. It's ridiculous. It needs to be a balance restored, and I'm going to do my part, and I hope that you will do yours. Please have a great day and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.